What's up guys, welcome back. So recently on Twitter I put a poll out asking everyone what copycat recipes they wanted to see next, and the most common request was this Louisiana chicken pasta from Cheesecake Factory. It's actually one of my favorites from Cheesecake Factory as well, and today I'm going to show you how to make it at home. But before we get into the recipe, please take a quick second to subscribe to the channel. Make sure you hit that bell to enable notifications as well. All right guys, meet me in the kitchen, let's make it happen. First things first, let's take a look at the ingredients for our sauce today. We're gonna need 2 cups of heavy cream, 1 cup of chicken broth. We've got red and yellow bell peppers, along with some red onions, about a cup or so of mushroom, 2 tablespoons of minced garlic. We have our pasta, you can use whatever you want. I'm using bowtie today. For the seasonings, we have some Tony's Creole seasoning, my Lemon Bae Seasoning, of course some red pepper flakes to bring a little heat, and some Parmesan cheese. Now my friends, it's time for the fun part. We've got about a tablespoon or 2 of butter in there for health. Then we're gonna add our veggies. So we got red and yellow bell pepper, we got some red onion. We're gonna let this cook in this butter, start to absorb those flavors. Can't forget our mushrooms, so we're gonna go ahead and add those. If you hate mushrooms, obviously you can leave them out. Plenty of veggies in this dish. We're just gonna saute them, let them get nice and tender. We'll start to season them in a minute. But right now, just give them, a little toss, mix them around, make sure they're absorbing that butter. Nothing sticking to the bottom or sticking to the sides. So once those veggies get a head start, we're going in with our minced garlic. You can use garlic paste or stuff from the jar. Fresh is best, obviously, but use what you got laying around. Don't have to make a grocery trip just for fresh garlic if you got some garlic paste in the refrigerator. So right now we're just gonna go ahead and work that garlic in. It's gonna start smelling amazing in your house. And now it's time to season this up. Going in with a little sprinkle of my Lemon Bae Seasoning. If you don't have this, guys, use whatever you have laying around. We're also going in with some Creole seasoning. Use whatever brand you like. Always feel free to adjust the seasonings to your preference. Another adjustable ingredient is the red pepper flakes. If you don't want it to be spicy, guys, you can leave this out. But for the rest of us that like a little heat, in goes the red pepper flakes. We're gonna toss that around, make sure that everything is evenly coated in flavor. Maybe even 2 tablespoons of all-purpose flour, depending on how thick you want your sauce to be. We're gonna work that in, and then we're gonna deglaze with 1 cup of chicken broth. After that, we're going in with 2 cups of heavy cream. All right, so in goes 1 cup of chicken broth. We're gonna bring that up to a simmer. Kind of deglaze your skillet, scrape the sides, scrape the bottom. No flavor left behind. We're gonna increase the heat a bit. Once that comes up to a boil, you'll start to notice that it'll start to thicken up because the flour is working its way into that chicken broth. And that's when we're gonna add in our heavy cream. If you can't use heavy cream, guys, use whatever substitute you like. Half and half, whole milk will work. The further away from heavy cream you get though, the thinner your sauce might be, so just keep that in mind as you're making your adjustments. But as you can see, our sauce is already thickened up a bit. So once you see that, in goes 2 cups of heavy cream. We're gonna give that a mix, bring that up to a simmer, allow it to reduce a little bit. Season it to taste. So right now we're working over medium heat. Just want to slowly bring this up to temperature. It'll begin to simmer a bit. It'll start to thicken up as it reduces. And then we'll add in that Parmesan cheese and season to taste. Always salt your pasta water as well, guys. Quick PSA on that. Adequately salt that pasta water so your pasta has some flavor when it hits the sauce as well. So as you can see, our sauce is beginning to thicken up a bit. I'm gonna reduce the heat at this point and start to go in with that Parmesan cheese. Freshly grated Parmesan cheese or store-bought. I'm not gonna judge you, as long as you don't judge me. We'll use fresh for the final presentation. We'll go ahead and work that in. For anyone that's interested, that's the brand that we used on the grated Parmesan cheese. A lot better than the stuff we kind of shake on our pizza, so just keep that in mind. All right, right before you guys go make that comment in the comment section about me not using fresh cheese, we went ahead and broke some out just for the haters. In goes a little freshly grated Parmesan cheese. One thing to keep in mind, guys, the more Parmesan cheese you use, the less seasoning you're probably gonna need, because Parmesan cheese has pretty high salt content. Only way to find out though is to get in there and taste it. That's good. Needs a little lemon bae though. Just a splash of that. A little bit of Tony's, and a little bit of those red pepper flakes. And that, my friends, is a phenomenal pasta sauce. And for pro tip number 2 on the day, always finish cooking your pasta in the sauce. So in goes the pasta. Gonna give that a little mix. Make sure it's evenly coated. You guys can make nasty jokes in the comments about the pasta sound. And we'll just set that aside, fry our chicken, and plate this up. All right, so right now for the chicken, we need to go ahead and butterfly the chicken, which basically means cut it in half. Then we're gonna cover it in saran wrap, use a mallet, and flatten it out. It's more about making the chicken even than making it flat, that way it cooks evenly. But this is the best technique in my opinion for this particular recipe. All right, so once your chicken breast is nice and even, we're gonna go ahead and season it up. Nice light layer of Lemon Bae or whatever your favorite all-purpose seasoning is. Lemon pepper will work here, Cajun seasoning, whatever you like, guys. We're gonna flip that over, show the other side the same love and attention, and then we're gonna get our frying station set up. All right, so for the frying station, you need 3 bowls. Sorry to the dishwasher in advance. In the first bowl, you need 2 overpriced eggs. You're gonna beat those. The second bowl, you need 1.5 cups of all-purpose flour. And in the third bowl, we need 2 cups of panko breadcrumbs. All right, so real simple on the flour, guys. We're just gonna go ahead and add some all-purpose seasoning. Similar seasoning to what we've been using this whole recipe. So just use whatever you like. You just wanna make sure you have some flavor in there. And then for the panko breadcrumbs, we're gonna grate some fresh Parmesan cheese in there. Like I said, about 1/2 cup to a full cup, depending on how much Parmesan flavor you want in there. So go ahead and mix that seasoning into the flour, and then take that same spoon and mix that Parmesan into the panko breadcrumbs, and you officially have your frying station ready. All right, my friends, so for this technique, super simple. You're gonna take your seasoned chicken breast into that seasoned flour, just pat it in there. You don't have to make it like you're frying chicken wings or something like that, because we're double dredging this basically. Just make sure there's no bald spots. Knock off any excess flour, then go directly into that egg wash. Flip it over, then we're going from the egg wash right into those breadcrumbs with the Parmesan cheese. Now this is where you want to kind of get in there with your hands and make sure that they're nicely coated in those breadcrumbs. Adequate cheese distribution. Can't go short on the Parmesan, guys. Remember, we're here for a good time, not a long time. So just make sure that these are coated nicely in those breadcrumbs. Kind of press it in like so. And there you have it. That'll go into the oil at 350 degrees until it's 165 degrees internal temperature. Once your oil gets to 350 degrees, gently place your chicken breast on in there. This is gonna fry up faster than me at an open bar wedding because it's thinly sliced or butterflied. Just make sure it's not sticking to the bottom. Move them around a little bit, and in about 4 or 5 minutes, you have a perfectly fried chicken breast. So after a few minutes, you should have a golden brown and beautiful piece of chicken. 2 of them actually. Flip them over and let that other side cook as well. You can just see how crispy that is. Doesn't get much better than that, my friends. We're gonna let that finish cooking, put it on a wire rack, allow it to drain and cool a bit. Then we'll slice it up and plate it up. All right, so after you allow it to cool for a minute or 2, we're just gonna slice it up. You guys can hear how crispy it is. No sound effects involved here. So I like to reserve a little bit of my sauce for final presentation. This is the part where I say, brace yourself for a trademark money shot. Say it with me, guys. Looking good. little freshly grated Parmesan cheese for good measure. The only thing left to do is dig in here for the taste test. But before we do that, please take a quick second to subscribe to the channel. Make sure you hit that bell to enable notifications as well. All right, my cameraman has made me wait long enough. It's time for the moment of truth. Cheers. Chicken pasta from I'm about to say Chick-fil-A. From Chick-fil-A. Put a poll out on Twitter asking everyone what the next. Went ahead and broke some out just for the haters. I love y'all too. Damn it. I like it myself. It has crisp. And then we're gonna burn ourselves. Then we're gonna add request was this delicious Louisiana chicken pasta from Cheesecake Factory. That's like a tongue twister. So recently on Twitter, what do I want to say to wrap it up?